We'll start at the beginning. Matt Whitaker. This question has to do with gun control. Briefly explain what the Second Amendment means to you, and would you support any further gun laws? If yes, please explain what you believe is needed.
Again, as the United States Attorney, I enforce the firearms laws, and we have plenty of firearms laws on the books right now. We have a whole regulatory scheme that attempts to keep guns out of the hands of folks that shouldn't have them, whether they are felons, whether they are the mentally ill, or whether they are domestic violence and abusers. What I know is that guns and our Second Amendment freedoms are just as important as our First Amendment freedoms, or our Fourth Amendment freedoms, or our Eighth Amendment freedoms. And so I have been an outspoken advocate for our Second Amendment rights. I think they are some of the most cherished rights that we have. I exercise my rights. Someone once said that the average American has 3 guns, so I'm above average in that count. And I think it's important. I have worked with the NRA as their local counsel. My firm was involved at the very start of the Iowa Firearms Coalition, so I have been active and involved in Second Amendment issues in the state of Iowa, both as a U.S. attorney and in private practice. And it is something that I will go to Washington, D.C. and stand up for Second Amendment freedoms against this administration, who seem to be determined to continue to infringe on this.
Scott Shaven, briefly explain what the Second Amendment means to you, and would you support any further gun laws? If yes, please explain what you believe is needed.
I think the Constitution spells it out perfectly. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I don't believe in the government infringing on our rights. As I stated in my opening statement, as for more regulation, I guess, I would work for a 50-state concealed carry permit. That's something to help the everyday citizen be able to travel our country freely. If you go too much further east of here, and you have a concealed carry permit, and you're trying to have something to defend yourself here in the state of Iowa, you have to pull over to the side of the road and put something in the trunk. Otherwise, you become a criminal in the next state over. And that, to me, is not right. We need to be able to keep and bear our arms, and it should not be infringed upon. So I will do everything in my power to ensure that our Second Amendment is protected. Thank you.
Mark Jacobs, briefly explain what the Second Amendment means to you, and would you support any further gun laws? If yes, please explain what you believe is needed.
Well, I think, we need to start this conversation on understanding where our rights come from. I believe they come from God. And I believe that the Constitution and the Second Amendment in particular makes it very clear that the right to bear arms is not to be infringed upon. And that's something I believe in very deeply. I am a gun owner. In fact, my 13-year-old son for Christmas this year, he got a shotgun, his first gun, and I had the great opportunity as a father this last Saturday to take him out shooting for the first time. And we shot some clay pigeons, and the little guy actually did pretty darn well. I was impressed with him. But, I think that's, people own guns for all sorts of different reasons. But you can count on me to stand in strong support of the Second Amendment.
Sam Clovis, briefly explain what the Second Amendment means to you. Would you support any further gun laws? If yes, please explain what you believe is needed.
The Second Amendment is given to us to protect the First Amendment, and if it were not for the Second Amendment, we would not have the First Amendment. And I think that those protections are very important. I've been endorsed by the Gun Owners of America, and their executive director, Tim Macy, called me and asked me on the phone. He said he went through this process, and Tim made a very important comment I think that I need to share with you. He says, we're going to support you, we're going to endorse you, and we're going to do it because we not only think you'll vote right, we think you'll fight for us. And that's where I am. I think I'll fight for gun owners in America. The thing that I see that's most critical about this whole notion here, that gun ownership is about the protection of property. Private property is the absolute fundamental cornerstone of America. The protection and the ability to accumulate private property is what this nation fought a revolution for. This is what it's about. And those rights that we have are protected by the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment comes right to the very heart of not only protecting property, but protecting ourselves and our families. This is critical. And it also, I think, helps protect us in the fact that 100 million gun owners own 300 million guns in this country. This is a gun culture. This is a gun nation. This is a nation that understands and responsibly uses firearms every day. And I don't think we need the United States government telling us how big the magazines need to be, or how many shots we can shoot, or how places we can go shoot them, because anybody that owns a gun and owns it responsibly is going to take care of that.